everybody, it's Paige Evans and I'm back with a new process video. This is actually the first layout that I'm sharing using my new collection with Pink Paisley called Pick Me Up. So that's super exciting, super fun. It releases in January and I am going to feature my Stitched Hearts template cut file from Silhouette. So I have added it to a new document and you can barely see it. It's just a bunch of dots that the machine is going to cut for me to create a stitching template. So I'm trying to zoom in so you can see them. They're just dots that are spaced perfectly evenly, so that just saves me the hassle of having to pierce all the holes by hand. So I am changing it to my settings. I have a ratchet blade, kept the speed and the force the same, and then I let my Cameo do all the work. So you can't see it very well, but there are lots and lots and lots and lots of little dots, little holes that have been pierced that the Cameo did. So I just let it do its thing and maybe ran some errands, helped the kids out, and then when I came back it was ready to go. It's a stitching template, so now I'm going to add the stitching. Lately I've been doing a chain link stitch. I really love how the colors pop and how textured it is. And so basically you create loops and go through the loops. I have tutorials on how to do this chain link stitch. I can leave a link below so you can do the link stitch, chain link stitch. But basically you go in one hole, you create a loop and you go back down that same hole and then you go out the next hole up through the loops. You're always going up through the loops. And I was going to stitch this in monochromatic pinks and reds, kind of for Valentine's Day. But then, oh, here's a close-up so you can see how the holes have been pierced. So I took this with me on a road trip that we went on for Christmas. We met up with my family in Wallace, Idaho. It's a 6-hour drive there, ended up being about 8 hours on the way there because of accidents, which is sad. But anyway, so 8 hours there, 6 hours back, and I changed colors of thread every 10 stitches. So there's lots of colors, which always makes my heart really happy. Here you can see I'm splashing some watercolors around just to break up the evenness of the layout. I like having the splotches of color, and I'm trying to mix colors to match the threads that I used, and the colors that I used for the threads I tried to match with Pick Me Up, so it's all very matchy-matchy. Once that dried, it's time to add the photo and embellishments. So there are 2 packages of die cuts in Pick Me Up. There's ephemera, and then there's also a package of tags and journaling spots, tickets and tabs. So what I did was I tried to fill in the entire center heart with flower die cuts. There are a few of them, quite a few, and I love them, and I'm going to use them a whole bunch. Just warning you now, there's going to be flowers galore. Always, because I love flowers so much. I thought about writing my journaling inside these hearts, and this is why I'm glad I do it in pencil first, because I decided I didn't really like the journaling there. I kept it for now, but I'll go back and add it somewhere else later. To help draw attention to the photo, I created a little photo mat using one of the patterns in the 6x6 paper pad. There is gold foiling in the 6x6 paper pad papers on some of them, so there's an extra pop of fun. So there I erased the journaling, and now I'm going to try journaling on this journaling spot, again using a pencil first, and once again I'm glad I used a pencil because I didn't end up going that direction. I just thought it covered up too much of the flowers, and I think the flowers are pretty and I want them to stand out. I even went as far as to go over it with a black pen and adhere to underneath. And here's where I changed my mind and decided just to write a little bit of journaling underneath the title. The title is Extraordinary, and it's a die cut from the ephemera pack. And I like that, so I'm going to go over it with a pen. I think I'm going to add more journaling about this event and tuck it in a tag behind the photo, because this picture was actually taken in Sintra, Portugal, which I had no idea. It's kind of just a generic photo that could be taken anywhere, but on the back was printed the location, and so I kind of want to add more information about the photo. There's rub-ons in Pick Me Up, and so I applied a little cluster of flowers in one of the open spots. More flowers, flowers, flowers. There are puffy stickers, so I'm adding a floral puffy sticker underneath the title, overlapping the photo just a little bit. So I made a Coptic book and wrapped washi tape around the covers, and in order to get the straight piece of washi, I trimmed this scalloped piece of washi just to make it straight, but there were scallops left over, so I'm adding those scallops to an edge of the heart. And then to go along with the heart themes, there are lots of tiny itty bitty chipboard hearts in Pick Me Up on the chipboard sticker sheets. There are lots of puffy tiny heart stickers too, but I've already used them on a separate project. Process video for that coming soon. And then I'm adding a slightly larger heart on the title. Here I thought about adding these mini foam alphabet thickers to say the location, again, Sintra, Portugal, but I thought it distracted. It took away from the layout. I think the eyes went right to it because it's so dark against the light background, so I decided to take them off. And that's what I love about foam thickers, is if you don't press too hard, it won't rip your paper. So, not every idea goes through, and that's okay. Moving on. To help keep the eyes on the layout, I want to create a border using the pattern paper strips that come at the bottom, the barcode strips of all the pattern papers. And I'm just picking the ones that I think look best right now. And then I'm going to adhere them at a very slight angle, so they're not going to be straight up and down. I like having it a little bit wider at the top and a little bit thinner at the bottom. So I put some scratch paper underneath. I'm using my American Knitted Crafts adhesive roller and carefully applying it so it's a little helter-skelter. First I use scissors to trim the excess, and then you'll see me use the paper trimmer. I think it's faster and a little more perfect. So again, put the scratch paper underneath, that way I'm not getting adhesive all over my workspace. Adhering it at a slight angle, and then turn it over and trim the excess. This one ended up being a little bit too thin, so I actually removed it and used the other half to make it a little bit wider so that they were a little more consistent widths around all the edges. I thought about using a sewing machine and stitching these paper strips in place, but I think there was enough stitching going on, enough texture, that it didn't really need any extra sewing, so I just left it as is. It creates a fun, colorful border to keep your eyes within the page, and that is how I used this Stitch Hearts template cut file from Silhouette and my new collection with Pink Paisley called Pick Me Up. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you are inspired, and I will see you again very soon.